What is up, guys? It is your boy Speed, and today I got an offlane tier list. You guys really seem to enjoy the safe lane tier list a lot, so I've compiled a full list of every single offlane hero. We're gonna go from broken tier down through A, B, C, D, all the way to the Jenkins tier, and let's get into it. Before we do, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, of course, and get your gameleap sub right away. We're not doing a sale right now, but that doesn't matter. You have to get your gameleap sub. This is the best time to get it. Dota, it's just a game you have to play and get good at, right? You guys know that. I know that. So get your sub right now. All right, let's get into the broken tier. Started right off, waste no time. I picked 5 heroes for broken tier. I think they all could be argued. The reason why I say that is there are some heroes that I think are particularly good in high MMRs, some heroes that I think are particularly good in low to average MMR, and I'll make that distinction in the video. But let's start it off with Tidehunter. Now, Tidehunter, it is not consistently broken, but in the right games, I do think this hero is incredibly strong. So let's talk about why. Right now, one thing that is very, very popular is unit drafts. We see a lot of Beastmaster, a lot of Lycan, good amount of Prophet, heroes like this. If you don't see it in your game though, if you don't see these unit heroes, I don't recommend you pick Tidehunter. I think the reason why you should pick Tidehunter is to counter these specific heroes. The AoE obviously protects your team. The items you buy, such as Mech Vlads, protects your team. And of course, the matchup one-on-one is simply good. You defend the towers, you prevent your team from getting run over, while the Lycan is trying to take your tier 1 at minute 2. Next up on the list, we have Beastmaster. Funny enough, you know, just talking about him, but I just think this hero is overall extremely good. Ever since they buffed the Necro, it's just a big deal for heroes like Beast. Like, I think this hero was already good last patch, and then now Necro is 10 seconds less, which means it's almost very close to 100% uptime. You know, in the past, there was a pretty big gap on the Necro, right? I think it was, what, 20 seconds? Might have been 30. Forget the exact number. But it was a good enough gap where you could potentially kill him. Now that doesn't exist. And so if you want to destroy his Beastmaster, I just made a video where I smurfed as him. You could see how I dumped on those kids. We won in like 26 minutes, typical Beastmaster fashion. And the thing is, not only is the hero good in the laning stage, he's good, like, broken mid-game. You just gotta learn how to play the map aggressively. If you don't do that, you'll lose. But he dominates the vision game, good laner, good mid game, late game. He's not the best late game, but hey, BKB piercing stun, it is what it is. Next up on the list, we have Slardar. I don't know, this hero hasn't changed at all. It was like considered to be a first phase hero for a while, and then it just stayed the same. I think it got like a few nerfs to Guardian Sprint, and like a mana cost nerf on its W, and that was it. And so it's good, it's just good, especially in pubs. Like, I think a big thing people don't consider in pubs is how the pick order is set up, because Slardar is a lane dominator, right? And in order to not get dominated by him, you need to pick specific heroes, like Monkey King or Troll, maybe Drow, depending on the game, like these type of heroes, right? However, you don't get that luxury anymore. It's blind, unless your team lets you pick last, but let's be real, in your average pub, the mid laner largely is going to pick last, so you don't have that luxury, and I think that's largely what makes Slardar good. Then we have Mars. He's just really solid. I think this is a hero you can first phase, and yeah, I just think that makes him solid. Then we have Timber. Honestly, this is like a weird one for me, but I think if you know how to play this hero like extremely well, he loses. I'm gonna go ahead and say it, no lanes. If you're actually good enough on this hero, I don't think you lose any lanes. Especially if your team is willing to set up the lanes around you. There's hard lanes, but you don't get like crushed. And I find that to be incredibly valuable, as this hero can be the aura buyer. And honestly, I just think auras are solid right now. Pipe's in a fine place. People aren't really buying it. I don't know why. I think it's good. I think Pipe's in a fine place. Greaves are good. Orb of Corrosion on him is strong. So I think these are the broken heroes. I want to spend the most time on them to, you know, give you guys the 5 heroes I definitely recommend picking right now. But let's get into the A, B, C, and D tier as well. So starting off at A, we have Underlord. I didn't want to put him in broken, even though he is the highest win rate offlaner in all of Dota. I'm not putting him broken just because he's only like really good in your like low to average MMR pubs. So if that's your bracket, you might want to consider picking him. He builds auras, and when your carry inevitably overextends on the high ground, you immediately should pop your ulti and get them out and scold them for what they just done. Then we have Abaddon. He also has a high win rate right now. Honestly, I'm not gonna say I know exactly why that is. This is one of those heroes where I looked at the win rate, I said, okay, it's pretty high, I'm putting it in A tier, because usually safe heroes and tanky heroes are good in your average pubs. On top of that, he's one of the easiest heroes in the game to counterpick. Like, if you see him and you get, like, Monkey King Abaddon or Slark Abaddon, my man Abaddon has a no game. However, same logic as before, that's not really a thing. It even applies for Underlord, and I think that really helped these heroes. I know it was a while ago, I just, like, have been really coming to terms with this idea, and I definitely think it's true. Then we have Chaos Knight, same thing with Abaddon, just tanky, solid offlaner, the Ags is still really good. Brewmaster, I also like his Ags, I think just straight up rushing Ags is totally viable. It's really good early on into the game. If you get a good Ags timing, it's pretty nuts how much impact your hero actually has. Then we have Bristle, go Hood into Vanguard. Do not rush Shroud. Please don't rush Shroud. Just go Vanguard Hood or Hood Vanguard, depending on which is better. Honestly, usually Vanguard Hood is better because Vanguard is much better at farming agent stacks and neutral camps, which is what you should be doing, especially farming stacks, you know, that whole vibe. Then we have Dragonite. Yes, Dragonite. I love this guy's shard. Like, buy some tanky items, buy a hood, buy a bracer, buy a cloak, then wand, then treads, and then, like, pick up this shard. It does 80 damage per second on a 20-second cooldown in a massive AoE. You combine that with the tick damage from your ulti and a stun, like, you're really good. I think this is a hero that will become more and more meta, especially against, like, a lot of the unit and physical damage drafts we're seeing right now. So I expect DK to become popular. Hey, we'll see if it happens, but that's my guess. Then we have Lycan. I know he's more of a core, but it's Lycan right now. He's good. You can pick him offlane. Then we have Omni Knight, another hero that I think is sort of like Abaddon, you know, can get countered very hard, might not happen in pubs. If you get away with a good matchup, you max your Q, max your W. I don't really recommend taking the E too early, unless it's like some really free matchup. You can buy an OOV and take your E and dominate. But for the most part, max the Q, max the W, and now he also received the buff where he's a 40 damage talent at level 10, which means the hero can hit hard. You can go phase, you can go Orb of Corrosion and run people down, and it's a very viable strategy where his damage talent used to be at 15 and it would take way too long to get to that point. Like where it would be viable. So now, I think he's much better. Then we have Hoodwinked. Okay, even though this hero is a good support, I hate Hoodwinked. It's so miserable to play against. It's impossible to kill. Its laning stage is obnoxious. Like, I don't know why the W reduces vision. Like, what do you think pubs are? Like, pro games? Are we gonna tell each other where we are when we get rooted and have no vision? No, that's not gonna, no one does that. I have no clue where I am. I have no clue what's happening. That spell is so broken. It's so broken. Then we have Pangolier. Just think he's solid. Like, he's really good against all these physical damage drafts, the unit heroes as well, if you're concerned about that. And so, yeah, I think he's just okay. He's just Pango. He hasn't gotten nerfed, hasn't got a just good hero. Batrider would have been broken tier, but they nerfed the whole ancient thing. I still think that people are going to spend a lot of time farming on this hero. I recommend you do as well. Also, he's really good against a lot of the top carries. He's good against Monkey. He's good against Troll, which are some of the top carries of the patch. So if you're like, oh, I need to counter the top carries, well, there you go. You can pick Batrider, then farm it up, hopefully win your lane, and pop off. Then we have Darkseer. I really like his axe. Then we have Prophet. Just solid, just Prophet. Most pubs, not good because people can't play him, but if you're a good Prophet, he's just a very strong hero as long as you're a supplementary hero and not the solo carry. You can solo carry, just very hard. Now let's get into the B tier and C tier. These heroes, not gonna go too in depth on them, frankly, because I don't really recommend picking them most games. They do have their situations where they can be good like every hero, that's why we love Dota, but they're not like the strongest heroes. First of all, we have Sand King, right? Just stun, I like the ulti changes, makes him better. Legion. Against certain purge lineups, like if you need to purge things, I think the hero's pretty good. I recommend maxing the Q. Then we have Night Stalker. If you know you have a good lane, maybe they early pick their carry, you know you have a good lane, you're not going to get Monkey King or trolled and kicked out of lane, you can get off to a good start, okay, Night Stalker can be good. Io. I like offlane Io maxing spirits, a lot of damage. Then Clinks, just a high win rate hero, decent offlaner, nothing crazy. Then we have Axe. I don't know, just pick one of the other initiators. I don't really recommend them. Same thing with Centaur. Maybe you could pick with like Rubik's Shadow Demon, but it better be some good matchup. Magnus, he's gotten too many nerfs to be a god tier offlaner, but he's still Magnus. Magnus PA is still decent. Like these type of, you know, heroes, Magnus Jug, even Magnus Ricky, these type of things. AT, underrated, decent, right clicks hard. Just pick him with some sort of 4 that has a stun. Phoenix, I like the shard. Snapfire. Pick it with like Clock or Tusk or Spear Breaker. That lane is very strong. It's really annoying to play against. Spear Breaker, Snap, jeez, they're tanky. It's really, unless they have Undying, it's a good lane. Then we have Spear Breaker himself. That's funny. He's a good offlaner. I actually like his Ags and like even just going drums on him. You run around, you know, go run into people. It's pretty good. Bounty Hunter. I maybe could have put him in A, to be honest. I actually think this hero is pretty decent. Same thing with Razor, who's the next hero. Both of them play a very high tempo right now. They're also very strong laners, like fast heroes. And so they're both like potential lane dominators in the right matchup. So if you get lucky, I love that they're like kind of what pubs can come down to sometimes. Like if you get lucky in the draft, these heroes can really dominate and take over the pace of the game. Especially if like they pick the trolls, Razor can be really good. Then we have Venomancer. He's alright. Just your standard Veno. I don't think the hero is that great anymore. I loved him as like a Void counter pick last patch, but now the Void's kind of like gone. I don't see nearly as much Veno. It was like a natural response. Now we don't see it. Viper. You can still Nether Toxin waves. It's got nerfs quite a bit, but like, it's still good. Pugna and Leshrac. I'm gonna put them together. They're just some nukers. Make sure you have a tanky 4 if you pick these heroes. Then we have Visage. Ever since they nerfed the Ags, I have lost like some faith in it. This hero is also really hard to play, so I don't recommend learning it. Then we have Doom. Maybe could be an AT hero. I don't know. I've seen Doom for so long. They've nerfed all of his numbers. You can't even eat an Alpha Wolf at level 1. It's so depressing. But he's still Doom. He's like, okay, it's just Doom. Then we have the C tier. We're ending up the video. If you've stayed today in the video, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Your support does matter. It helps us out. You know, this is our jobs. It is our livelihood. You know, we can't feed our families without your views. So I appreciate your likes and your subscribes, especially if you subscribe to gameleap, then I'll be your friend. Otherwise, you know, we're just acquaintances. All right, C tier. Tusk. I don't even know why I put him on the list. Enigma. This hero's gotten a lot of nerfs. I think he's way too slow for this patch. Clockwork. I also don't know why I put him on this list. He's barely an offlaner. Kunkka. I honestly don't even know why I made the C tier. I was like, oh, these heroes are kind of offlaners, but not really. Maybe Kunkka offlane is kind of underrated. Nah, probably not. Boat has gotten nerfed so many times. Then we have Pudge. Oh, I think he's an okay hero, actually. Like, you know, okay, I'll be honest, guys. This is going to be the biggest underdog of the patch, Pudge. I mean, my man is going to come out of nowhere. Everyone's going to underrate him. His new shard is actually quite good. I think the way you want to build him is just pure tank. Like hood, maybe some fluffy hats, an urn, wand, maybe treads, probably tranks, vanguard, like just tank, so you can eat your teammates when you get a shard. That's, I don't know, that's the vibe. And then finally Necro. I don't know, this hero's slow. It doesn't do much. It's just Necro, like, I don't know. A Bola Bear, stop picking Necro. And finally, for D tier, we have Earthshaker. I don't know, like, does anyone even play Shaker as a 3 anymore? But that's gonna be the worst tier of the patch. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Oh, by the way, comment down below which role I should do next, mid, 4, or 5. I'm gonna cover them all for this patch, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. But yeah, that's gonna be about all, folks. Remember, click the link down below and subscribe to the gameleap website where we have thousands of videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.